I used to think betrayal was something that happened to other people, the kind of thing you hear about in hushed bar conversations or read about online when you're bored. I never thought it would knock on my door, walk into my house, and smile at me like it belonged there. But that's exactly what happened the night I found out who my wife really was. Her name's Emily, or at least, that's who she was to me. We met in college, both broke, both running on bad coffee and blind ambition. She wanted to be a writer. I wanted to build something real, the business, a life, something that could last. She said she loved that about me. I believed her. Fast forward 7 years. Married, mortgage, a house that smelled like cedar and burnt toast every morning. She worked from home. I ran a small design firm downtown. We weren't perfect, but we were steady, or so I thought. The first cracks were small. A late text she brushed off. A new password on her phone. A faint, expensive cologne on her jacket when she hugged me goodnight. You tell yourself it's nothing because the alternative is too heavy to carry. You trust the person you built your life with. You have to. Then came the night everything fell apart. It was a Tuesday. I came home early from a client meeting that got canceled last minute. I wanted to surprise her with takeout from her favorite Thai place. She loved their green curry. The house was dark except for the faint glow from her office upstairs. I remember smiling as I quietly climbed the stairs, ready to scare her a little, like old times, but before I could open the door, I heard her voice, low, breathless, whispering things that didn't belong to me anymore. I froze. There was laughter of his, deep and quiet, like he was trying to keep a secret too. I don't know how long I stood there, hand on the doorknob, heartbeat in my ears. I didn't kick the door open like they do in movies. I didn't scream. I just walked away, down the stairs, out the door, into the car. I drove 4 hours. No destination, just headlights and empty roads. Somewhere around midnight, I parked by the water and watched the reflection of city lights ripple on the surface. I thought about every memory we'd built, every photo, every promise, every night she'd said I love you. And suddenly, all of it felt manufactured. Like I'd been living in a script written by someone else. The next morning, I confronted her. I didn't need to say much. She knew. Her face went pale before I even opened my mouth. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said. I left. Didn't mean for it to happen. Like tripping and falling into someone's arms for months was an accident. I asked who he was. She hesitated. Then said his name, Michael. Her editor. Married, kids, too. Something in me cracked open when she said his name. I'd met him once. He'd shaken my hand and thanked me for being so supportive of her career. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I just asked her to tell me the truth, every ugly detail. She cried, and I listened. She said it started with harmless flirtation, the kind that hides behind compliments and late-night messages. Then dinners. Then hotels. She said she loved me, but she'd felt seen by him in a way she hadn't in years. I remember saying, "Then why are you still here?" She didn't answer. The days after that were a blur of numbness and rage. She stayed with her sister. I stayed in the house that suddenly felt too big for one person. Her toothbrush was still in the bathroom. Her mug still on the counter. I hated that I still missed her, even while picturing her with him. But pain, I've learned, is fuel. And I wasn't going to let her walk away clean. I didn't go looking for revenge, not at first. But when I found out he'd helped her pitch an article about truth in relationships, something inside me snapped. I gathered every message, every photo, every call log, a proof she hadn't deleted yet. I sent them anonymously to his wife. 2 days later, his world caught fire. Emily called me, sobbing. Said I'd ruined lives. Said his wife had thrown him out. That his kids wouldn't speak to him. I told her I'd only done what she'd already started. She hung up, and I didn't hear from her again. For a while, I thought that would make me feel better. It didn't. Revenge doesn't heal. It just echoes. Months passed. The house sold. I moved to a smaller apartment closer to work. People at the office stopped tiptoeing around me. I started sleeping again. Sometimes, when I walked past a coffee shop and caught a glimpse of someone who looked like her, my heart still tripped, but only for a second. The last time I saw Emily was in a grocery store parking lot, about a year later. She looked different, thinner, tired, like someone who'd aged 10 years in 12 months. She smiled faintly. I nodded, polite. distant. Do you ever think we could have fixed it? She asked. I paused. Maybe, I said. But not after you broke it. She nodded, eyes glassy. Then she walked away, and I let her. Now, when I tell this story, people always ask if I forgive her. I don't know. Maybe forgiveness isn't something you give someone else. Maybe it's what you give yourself so you can finally stop bleeding. I don't hate her anymore. But I don't love her either. What I feel is peace. A quiet kind that doesn't need closure. Doesn't need revenge. She taught me something I wish I didn't have to learn. Love isn't about trust, it's about choosing the right person to give that trust to. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't losing them. It's realizing you never really had them in the first place.